Welcome back to another lesson and tutorial about Meri and Kari. I am your licensed Shakuhachi teacher, Shawn Renzoh Head. Let's get started. So we're actually going to take a look at a couple of videos today of different Meris and Karis. So because I want you guys to see that there's no set rule for how Meri and Kari work. So this is my teacher's teacher, Yoshinobu Taniguchi. And let's just take a listen. So let's pause right though. We just missed it. We can pause to the next one he does. So Taniguchi has his left hand on bottom, but notice that he is going a little. It's pretty much straight down, but he is going a little bit, just a tiny bit to the right, and he's really dipping. And one of the things that's not really apparent in the video, but what he's doing is he's actually lifting the flute up with his left hand in order to get the flute even a little bit closer to his lips, getting a deeper Meri sound. This is a nice video because you can see everything really close up and how the flute itself here at the Utaguchi is getting much closer to the lips. Okay, let's move on to my teacher playing. This is Michael Chikuzen Gould playing Yamaguchi. There's a shade on 4. Okay, so that dip right there. It's fairly straight down for him. It's just the slightest little tilted to the right of what he's doing here. And notice that his right hand is on bottom, whereas Taniguchi's is on the other way around. And then just right back up. Actually, his might be just completely straight now that I'm thinking about it, because the flute is angled a little bit. And then let's look at Yamaguchi Goro playing Akita Sugagaki. So it's pretty clear he barely has to move at all because he has these huge lips which really help to it's magic how he can get down that deep without moving at all. But he's going down to the left and his left hand is on bottom. So as you can see there's no set rule about if you're going to go down to the right or down to the left, and with hand positions. It has nothing to do with that. It's whatever feels most comfortable for you and where you get the best sound. Let's listen a little bit more and watch. Yeah, he barely has to move at all. Really great. Okay, so let's take a look at how Meri and Kari actually functions for Shakuhachi players. And then I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that I do with my students in order to get them to have a full resonant Meri and Kari. So the first thing that you can do to practice is actually figuring out about this where the airflow is going against the blowing edge. So when when your head goes down, this part here is coming closer to your lips. And so what we have to do is we have to train ourselves with the airflow. So what you can do is play it in normal holding position and just play one of those open notes like E or even D is fine, but E is ideal. And then when you're playing that note, I just want you to raise the flute up. And what's going to happen is you're going to bring the Utaguchi closer and closer to your mouth. And so that is the Meri technique, right? That is how the note is actually going to fall. So when you do your row, there's your roll die Meri. So now that's getting the air across the Utaguchi. Now what I do for my students and when I tell them that they practice in order to find out if they're going to be down to the left or down to the right is start making big circles. So And so for some people, they'll find that you can get a sweet spot down here to the left and then to the right. They can do both, but you have to pick which one feels most comfortable. And so for me, when I'm doing the Meri, after I've done the circle, I've noticed that the going down to the right for me is easier, and also going up and to the left is easier as well. And sometimes even just directly to the side is fine for me, depending on the note as well. So after you've done that, and you can move around the flute freely, what I and after you've decided which side works best for you, what I tell my students next is to imagine that they're sitting in front of a really big blank wall, and if they're taking their flute and they look up into the left corner of that wall, that's where they should go with the flute. And then there's your kari position. Then if we want to do it for Meri, it's just the opposite. So you look at the bottom right corner, follow your eyes there. And you'll notice that like the flute doesn't directly go with my eyes in that sort of direction, but that just sort of trick helps us to get deeper and going down. And then the second thing, just as a trick for the Meri position, one of the things that I have my students do when they're not getting quite deep enough is they're dropping down and lift the bell of the flute up a little bit, and that will really help deepen or lower the pitch. So with those little tricks in mind, I hope that can help. There are a couple other things that I do with students to make to help out a little bit. Some students have a tendency to push into the flute too hard, and that causes some problems as well. If you're pushing in too hard, you might actually be blocking the utaguchi. So you might be getting that sound, and in the lower, you're getting that really not quite focused sound, which then leads to a harder sustain. You get that instead of. So, just to recap, there are no set rules about Meri and Kari. We basically what we can do is establish it by making big circles with E and finding where our sweet spots are. After that, if you choose to the top left, imagine that large wall and look up into the left with your eyes and follow the head to that point. Then, if you choose the bottom right or the bottom left, you look at the bottom right wall or the bottom left wall, and you follow your eyes there and drop, and that should help you get that nice big deep Meri sound that we're looking for. So I hope this was helpful. If you liked the video, make sure you like. If you're looking for more Shakuhachi content, please subscribe. And if you want private lessons, please go to my website, shawnheadmusic.com. Go to the bottom contact page and send me a message. I hope you enjoyed it.